Hello and welcome to a short series. We're going to call this Small World Europe or something to that effect. But I'm going on a trip with my good friend Jeff, who you see there. Where are we heading, Jeff?
We're heading to Budapest by way of France.
Yeah, we looked at
Charles de Gaulle.
Exactly. So we're here at Detroit Metro, which gets rave reviews from travelers. And a little piano music to calm our nerves, and now a little guitar.
Unfortunately, the fountain bar features a fountain that hasn't been working since before COVID, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, that was a cool fountain. If you had any spare change, that's usually where it ended up. We had a little time to kill, though, didn't we, Jeff?
A little bit, yeah.
We went to the Longhorns place, and wow, got ourselves a fancy drink here. We had a late evening flight. What do they call this when it's late night and you sleep on the plane? Is it the red eye?
Yeah, but it wasn't a real late flight. It was an afternoon, late afternoon, evening.
Look at all the different boarding things. They got a lot of different levels now, don't they?
Yeah, they board by zone, and they let all the veterans on first, and then the handicapped, and then the Sky Elite, and all that. And it's all status based and how much money you have and how long you've been flying.
Well, here's the terminal tower, and it's looking good here in the late afternoon sun. But yeah, we'll be able to monitor the little TV action. But yeah, we're leaving on time. So there's our flight path. CDG is Charles de Gaulle.
Worst airport ever.
Okay, we're up in the air. We're going to time them out here. That's the old terminal there. I think they might still film some movies out of that. But yeah, we're starting with Budapest, and then what are the other cities we're going to cover there, Jeff?
Vienna and also Prague, and then we'll finish up with Amsterdam.
There's the bridge. They're going to meet in the middle there. Hopefully, that's what they're planning anyways. But that's the Gordie Howe International Bridge, and that's coming along quite nicely. There's looking at downtown, but yeah, Jeff had mentioned they need to clean the windows. And a look at the wing. So that's exciting. But yeah, time to destination, just under 7 hours at this point. So we're going to get some frequent flyer miles, huh, Jeff?
Yeah, a few.
And the elevation, we're clicking up now.
And the window is still dirty.
And it went higher than 35. I think we went up to 38,000. But dinner is served. Check this out. Look at even a fancy artistic tray. Look at that design. But yeah, I finished it off. Okay, 37,000 now, so we're still climbing. And some moon action. Just a sliver of like a happy moon there. Yeah, so we started this trip Wednesday, October 11th. And it's a 12-day trip, 10 nights actually, because the first night's on the plane. So, but yeah, I guess I'm showing how we get there and local time and all that. It's a 6-hour time difference, and it jostled a little bit with the end of daylight savings time. I think Europe does it like 1 week earlier than the US does, but basically we're about, most of the time, they're 6 hours ahead of us. All right, so we're about ready to land here, Jeff. Are you excited?
I am.
Yeah, and we were going to take a little quick jaunt to Paris, but that kind of fell through, didn't it?
The line for customs was well over an hour, and the ride into downtown, whether we took taxi or used public transit, was going to take well over an hour each way. So, yeah.
Yeah, a little piano entertainment. But yeah, we had every intention of getting a closer look at that Eiffel Tower and the Notre Dame Cathedral, but instead we spent some time in the terminal here, and it wasn't all that exciting. But we're going to take the second leg of our trip from Charles de Gaulle to Budapest. So it's just like a 2.5 hour flight, so much more manageable.
The morning we got into Paris was kind of gray and dismal and rainy anyway, and like I said, the lines for customs were ridiculous. The size of the airport is just unmanageable and completely laid out in an illogical fashion. Frankly, it took every bit of an hour and a half to get to the gate where we needed to go to, even without clearing customs and doing all the other stuff. So it's just, the airport itself is just a disaster. It's a dumpster fire.
Well, they're going to have to deal with the, we got no TV screen here for this leg of the flight. I was missing that. I was going to keep track of the flight elevation and the distance to destination and all that happy stuff. But, yeah.
Instead, you get clouds.
Yeah, isn't that impressive? Clouds. But we were going over like the Alps and stuff. That looks like a river. Here's I was surprised we got a little sandwich thing. And the Olympics are next year in 2024, so there'll be a lot of people having fun with the Charles de Gaulle Airport. But here's a baby Coke can, if you haven't seen one of these before. But it's an original gout, something like that. It looks like the Alps there, though. What do you think? Snow.
Don't know. Looks like mountains.
Yeah, snow-capped a little bit, but yeah, so little mountain action. And then this was, that's handy dandy. I was fascinated. That's your cup holder. Imagine that, what they think of. All right, well, we successfully landed. It looks like the flaps worked properly. So, you're in Hungary now, Jeff.
Yep.
There's a different airport terminal tower. And we were going kind of like in an off season, right? You call it the shoulder season?
Right, yeah. The fall in Europe is a good time to go. Less crowds. Prices are a little lower.
We're even going to see a sunset here. And you booked the hotel already, right, Jeff? You had booked this through hotels.com. You booked this a few weeks prior or whatnot?
Yeah, we had this booked over a month ahead of time. We ended up adding some days and canceling a different hotel because we were pretty happy with the location and everything, so it worked out. This is the only time you'll actually want to take an official taxi in Budapest is from the airport. It's called Faux Taxi, and that's the official airport taxi and the official taxi of Budapest. There's a lot of unlicensed taxis throughout Budapest that look just like normal taxis, and they will rip you off and generally treat you like garbage. So you're better off using Bolt or having the hotel call a taxi for you as opposed to trying to pick one up off the street.
Yeah, so he'll take us directly to our hotel, and Jeff conveniently found a good location pretty much in downtown Budapest, the Ibis Hotels. I didn't know, but it's a chain apparently, huh, Jeff?
Yeah, it's kind of a sort of a budget chain in Europe. I mean, it's not like Motel 6, but it's not exactly the Four Seasons either. But it's a nice enough hotel.
It had a young vibe to it. They had a lot of artistic touches, interesting little sit-down things.
That was a shot of a Charger that we'll never see again because I left it in Europe somewhere. So hopefully someone in Prague is enjoying that.
It was a small place. The bathroom here, it has a sink, a shower with one of them wand thingies and a toilet, so you can check out. Plus a double thing. I never saw that before, but that's like a 1 and a 2 thing, right?
Yeah.
But it didn't take us long before we found some beer.
The cafe scene in Budapest is one of the highlights, and it's said to be what Paris was like 40 years ago, but here we are having some authentic Hungarian food. That's Wiener Schnitzel, and Dennis is having chicken paprikash.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah, our first meal was pretty awesome, actually. What's that?
That's Palinka, the sort of moonshine of Hungary.
You already polished it off. Was it good?
Yeah, it's not horrible. They're very proud of it there, and they seem to be amused whenever I would order it.
Yeah, it was pretty it's like moonshine kind of thing, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so this was the first night, and we had a little time to just check some of the architecture and see what was happening in the city. But yeah, we're just getting our feet a little wet, and this is one of their main streets going through here, right? We're going to see a historic bridge.
Yeah, the chain bridge. We didn't realize at the moment, but that was the market hall that we had walked past. Here it is. Dennis is still showing it, and we're going to wander over to the chain bridge here in a moment, which is the first bridge that united Buda and Pest back in 1873, I believe, and it was the first major bridge over the Danube.
Well, I never knew Budapest was two cities, but you're saying, yeah, they combined, the bridge kind of combined them. It's kind of like Minneapolis, St. Paul kind of thing. A river separates them, you know.
Right.
But anyways, yeah, this is a nice bridge, though. Historic and everything. They won't let you climb up all the way, but
I don't know. didn't seem to. There was nobody really stopping anyone. Let's put it that way. But this bridge was until recently was closed to through traffic. They were doing some work on it, but we were fortunate enough to be able to walk across it.
And then this is a famous river too, isn't it?
The Danube River, immortalized by Johann Strauss with the beautiful blue Danube,
That might be the chief.
the waltz, but yeah, it lights up pretty at night, that's for sure.
This is when the young kids, they want to lock in their love kind of thing. That's how you do it.
Yeah, they write their names on the lock, and that's supposed to symbolize eternal love.
And a lot of boats here, right? This looks like one of these high-end luxury cruise lines.
Yeah, you can do a tour of the Danube, and we'll do that later in the show here, but you have a lot of options for doing so, anywhere from just taking a water taxi to taking a $20 cruise like we did, or you can splash out and have a dinner cruise on one of these fancy yachts if you're wanting to throw some money at things.
Yeah, I was just fascinated with the details on this bridge, and it's certainly lit up nice. And I got a badge or shield of honor up there, and then the streetcar. Yeah, you can really feel that rumble across. But and then the young folk, yeah, it was like their hangout place or whatnot. In various places on the bridge, they would sit down and chill. Nice big rivets. But those young kids nowadays. Here's a boat going underneath us here.
Yeah, this is obviously a big money maker for Budapest here. The tours, they run up and down the Danube.
Yeah, I couldn't believe how many boats there were, and yeah, this was off season. Scary to think how many people would be around during the high season, but
It's if you do this, it's best to take the tour at night, obviously, because all the buildings are lit up and it's a lot more atmospheric than during the daytime.
there's some people hanging out on the banks of the Danube there. I imagine it's a little bit of a floodplain too. I don't know. I think the river's probably a little bit down. What do you think, Jeff?
Didn't have a chance to check the water level. But did not appear to be cresting in any case.
Yeah, good lighting. Yeah, we're going to check out the market tomorrow.
Hungary is an interesting country. It's kind of been on the front line of the war between Europe and the Ottomans for many years, and it was also the front line in a lot of battles in World War I and World War II. So the Hungarians have kind of been the perennial whipping boys of Europe. They've been on the receiving end of a lot of abuse.
Yeah, you know what? Just talking or looking here, they got a decent mass transit system. We saw the streetcar that had 6 streetcars on that, and then they have a subway system. It's a modern city, you know, with old school, but
Well, it was at one point it was the seat of the Habsburg Empire, so it definitely has some modern infrastructure. It has some impressive architecture. Really, the public transport in all 3 of the cities we were in just puts everything you see in the States to shame.
yeah, this boat's all lit up pretty good.
Yeah, that's one of those yachts where you're going to be throwing a lot of money to sit down and have dinner on the river.
So yeah, I was fascinated with the architecture, and at night when things are lit up, they certainly stand out or kind of pop out.
It's
And
funny because almost every building you walk past, will have statues or some kind of elaborate carving, or and, you know, if you're not looking up, you just miss a lot of these details. This obviously is the Great Market Hall, so there's going to be some elaborate statues going on here, but even anywhere you walk around in Hungary, you're going to see some really outstanding architecture. It's just
yeah, I didn't know what to shoot with the first night here. I'm going, oh, that's cool, that's cool. Take a picture of this, take a picture of that, and then it was kind of like you reach a point where you kind of overdo it. But anyways, now I'm off of that. But here we went to a bar, and the gypsy girl. We'll get a quick glimpse of her, and not her right there, just to the right.
and just real quick, the sign over on the wall there said Corso or Pohar. Pohar. Corso is a big beer. Pohar is a small beer.
Do it. Bottoms up.
And there's our buddy, the Romanian construction worker, who wanted to play pool with us, and he was a little inebriated. He was not as enthusiastic about that shot as I was.
That was the Palinka thing, right?
Yep.
All right. Well, then we made it back. Yeah, this was a cool hotel. They had like old school touches and new school. Let's see. They have breakfast in the morning over here, so they had all different kind of furniture. They even had their own bar there, which was kind of neat. And then, okay, this is the next day in the morning, so this is like.
These are some of the cafes right around our hotel. There's some interesting architecture, and again, you know, some of the stuff they do in terms of setting off from the street. It's pretty interesting how they handle that. Dennis is showing some of the detail on the sewer grates, which is interesting as well. But I mean, it's just the level of detail in everything is pretty impressive.
Yeah, this was noonish or whatever, but we're just walking. A lot of the buildings are like 3 or 4 stories.
There's a building code. Actually, I looked into this after the fact, and there's a building code that you can't build anything higher than 45 meters in the city center up until 2010. So there's legislation that prevents anything high-rise going in.
Yeah, so it's the buildings are similar in stature, but you know they have different details on the outside and artwork all over the place, and I don't know what they call these, like a concrete relief, but they're all over the place.
That's a frieze? Is that the?
Possibly, yeah.
And here again, we're showing the Great Market Hall. Just some of the tile work, and it's just fabulous, really.
And I think we needed to get some money. We were going to take a quick look in the market here.
They're big on sausages, big on paprika, and very big on sweets and baked goods.
Yeah, this was like all day, like every day kind of market thing, and so this was quite extensive.
Actually, it's not every day. I think check the hours. I want to say it's closed on Sundays, but it might also be closed on Saturday. We lucked out. We went, I think, on Friday. It's not open on certain
Yeah, this
parts
was
of the-
Friday. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Saturday and Sunday it's closed. So if you're going, check ahead of time.
Yeah, well, I spoke out of line there, but
Well,
yeah,
just in case any of our 2 or 3 viewers
yeah.
decide to go to Hungary.
This is where we had to get money, so this was our first attempt. You want to explain all this, Jeff, as I do it with?
Yeah. So the one point I'm going to make here is that they're going to ask you a couple of times. Do you want them to helpfully convert your currency to American dollars, and you want to decline that because it's going to convert at a really terrible rate. Like they're going to whack you for about a 30% exchange rate.
Here, proceed with no conversion, so that you do that. And you have to do it. You have to do it twice.
Yeah, they're going to really try to rope you in, and this was the same thing in Prague. And everywhere I took money out, they try to whack you twice on that conversion.
$10,000. I feel rich.
Yeah, it's like Monopoly money.
10,000 big ones. The ladies were impressed, I'll tell you. But yeah, while we got our money, we're gonna make it back to the marketplace. But some nice brickwork.
10,000 forints for the record. There, that's $28.30 in U.S. funds.
Oh, you had to burst my bubble with that.
Yeah.
Damn, I thought I was rich there for a spell.
John Ashcroft would like to cover that statue up, if possible.
Yeah, this show for mature audiences only, because in Europe, yeah, they will show some nudity. So yeah, be aware of that. That's a disclaimer.
After the fact.
Yeah, but there'll be more to come, actually.
Thankfully.
Yeah.
So here we are in the Great Market Hall again, and a lot of this, to be honest with you, is kind of touristy. This is not like the market where the majority of the people in Budapest would go to shop. It's more of a... It's not that there aren't like local shopping here, but a big part of this is set up for tourists, obviously, as you can see, because if you're from Budapest, you're probably not buying a Budapest t-shirt.
Well, they had, the nutcrackers and those kind of Russian dolls, don't they call them that?
Yeah, the stacking dolls and that sort of stuff. And there's a lot of clothes, and I mean, you can get pretty much anything in here. It's just that the prices tend to be a little higher, and locals. There's other markets in Budapest that are not as, but the architecture is not as impressive, and it's not as all inclusive as you're going to see here.
Well, here's some of the native dishes and all that. So if you're looking for the regular food, they got it here.
Yep. And it was, decent chow for considering you're in a pretty touristy area. It's not
okay.
It's not half bad.
1,300 forints. Are you going to get a 1,300 divided by
$3.68.
So that was a coffee and a Danish. Yeah. This is some of their money. Yeah, it's always neat catching money from a different country. You got to familiarize yourself with this. This reminds me of the toonie in Canada. It's like a bipolar coin. You have the outer ring in gold and the inner is in silver. But here, look at the food. I don't know if I'd buy any of the display ones here, but they were displaying it, weren't they?
Yeah, they've got a wide variety of stuff on offer here, and a lot of Hungarian cuisine, and we're seeing some kebabs and stuff like that, and there's a lot of sausage, and a lot of Hungarian cuisine is really comfort food. You're going to find a lot of meat and potatoes kind of stuff, and they're big fans of sausage.
Yeah, they sure are. And well, you got some postcards
And a magnet.
Look at that. Oh, see, this was a family show, but oh Lord, they like Batman too.
They're crazy.
And paprika, you say this is like their native spice?
Yeah, you're gonna find paprika in almost anything you're gonna eat here. It's obviously a big ingredient for goulash. It's chicken paprikash, obviously, but I mean it's in everything. I'm surprised they don't put it in their coffee.
Oh, don't give them any ideas. Yeah, international flavor to the place a little bit. I don't know who that guy is.
No idea.
And we got some goose liver. What's all that about?
That's a big deal here too, and I meant to try that while we were there, and I never got around to it, so I lost. It's a big thing in their cuisine, though. They do a lot of pate and whatever they call that goose liver.
And duck liver.
You're gonna have to.
Oh, what's the price there? Oh. The HUF, Hungarian dollars? Or,
Hungarian forint.
here's
So
your palinka.
10,900. That would be $30.85 for that tin of duck liver.
Yeah. That's a little pricey.
That's some gourmet thing. I don't know.
You have to be into it.
I guess.
Well, so now we're outside the market, and we'll start exploring a little more of the city here. But this pub's for sale. We should buy it.
Yeah. Does a nice business, I'll tell you that.
They have hay on the floor.
It's always a good sign when they have peanuts. You can shell and throw the shells on the floor. Gotta love that in a bar.
And you got yourself a local beer.
A couple different ones. in fact.
Tasty is, for example, the apricot one.
Apricot?
Yeah.
I better get a try of that.
Would you like to now?
Yeah.
Or maybe two? Or just one?
This place is just down from the chain bridge. So it's got a license to print money, pretty much.
Yeah, they had a good crowd in there all the time. And people sign in. You can see all the white things, the white notes that they put on the walls.
Yeah, that's their gimmick. You sign up paper or write your message, and they'll tack it up on the wall for you.
This is the upstairs area, so they got more tables. It's like the overflow area, but it's kind of like...
We ended up eating here one night because it was like the only thing open.
oh, no. What did... was a family show. Okay, here's the 5,000 again. Or... no, I showed the 500 before. 5,000 should get you something. All right, there's the sewer grate. Okay, this is back to our hotel. Had the big red light district. And look at the bowling balls here.
Yeah, that dude was not exactly Bart Simpson.
All right, and this is a nice building here, the museum. Oh, see, Jeff? That's why I warned him earlier.
Yeah.
She had no bikini on. Or
Shameless hussy.
fashion faux pas. Her shirt fell down or something. Well, that's where the hotel is. So location. So that's a national museum we're at. And then we're going to go to see a ruin pub, right?
Right. The old Jewish quarter, the buildings, for obvious reasons, lay mostly abandoned after World War II. And so some enterprising souls decided to move in, throw in some garage sale furniture, and open up bars. And that's kind of another big thing that Hungary is known for, is these ruin pubs, or at least Budapest anyway. And we go to the original and the biggest or most well-known ruin pub is Simple Kurt.
Yeah, well, we'll have plenty of video on that. But yeah, the architecture here is just phenomenal. There was some kind of college festival, whatever this thing was. I don't know Hungarian, but we were here on the right day. And Yeah, I don't know what that whole thing, college enrollment for classes or something, but we were in the midst of it all. And some fancy dancy brickwork. If you like brickwork, there's niche markets for everything. Is that built on day 1890, you figure?
I'm thinking that's probably what they're saying.
But yeah, we're gonna make it to the ruin pub here, which you read all the guidebooks and everything, and they talked about that part of town, huh?
Well, it's in the old Jewish quarter. Like I said, they've got a lot of pubs that sprung up in the abandoned buildings there. There's also the second largest synagogue in all of Europe is also located here. I don't think we actually got around to seeing that, though, but
We have some greenery up top. A lot of adornments. Oh, Highway to Hell. So that's in English. I get all that. And then, look here, but in the same building, they had the Stairway to Heaven. Which road are you taking, or you taking the highway or the stairway?
we'll find out soon enough, I suppose.
Oh, man. All right, well, this street was closed off. That's always nice when they can leave it just for pedestrian traffic. But, yeah, you always got to watch your back. There's bikes buzzing all over the place, and it's pet-friendly. There's a big boy or girl.
It's a little graffiti right down from Simplicurt, and here's Simplicurt. Simplicurt Moy.
And they weren't open quite yet, right? We walked down the street a little bit further.
Yeah, I think we grabbed lunch and then
Look how the beer is delivered.
then popped in.
And just roll the beer down that away.
Behave, Jeff.
No misbehaving. Yeah, so they open at 3. But we'll be back. Magic mushroom. I'm wondering what that burger is all about. Okay, do the $35.94, and so that's just over $10, right? This was like an open air, like food truck court, and there was a lot of action there, but that was certainly touristy.
$35.90 is $10.16.
Okay. Well, we ate at an outdoor place, and they had English subtitles, but that's what I ordered. Gamba Prika. So we'll see how that turns out. And you got your salt, pepper, and paprika. Yeah, this was good. And then sour cream on top, so that was mine. And you got goulash soup?
Yeah, the Hungarian goulash. And that was probably the best goulash I had on the whole trip. And goulash is pretty common throughout all 3 regions we traveled in.
Oh, they allow rainbow people here, but yeah, this is this place was just crazy. It was like many buildings combined and many rooms, and every room had a different, well, it was just different, so people were hanging out all over the place.
Yeah, there's, it's not really just one bar, it's many different bars in the same complex.
But all
So-
owned by the same people?
Yeah, it's all Simplicurt. In the one area it looked like they were setting up for music, and then other areas were just set aside for, well, they even had a smoking area.
And well, they had you could sign in here, so I guess some people with posters. It's always interesting to see kind of what the art scene is like in a different city.
I'm still getting used to the currency. I just got in yesterday. Oh my god, everything's in thousands.
All right, $10,000. That was like a 20, wasn't it? And then so 1,700 for that beer.
It's $4.81.
Not for the beer.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, they were getting tourist prices here then, weren't they? Or
Yeah, it's like I said, it's the biggest and most well-known room bar, so.
And how late were we never crashed until the wee hours in the morning, but they were open till like 2, right?
The guy said the room bars were open till like 4.
Holy cow. One thing I noticed, they have a lot of these disco balls. They were all over the place, so I would imagine at night it's kind of like a big dance scene, you think?
Yeah, I think they've got different areas for different things.
Ooh, the red light area here.
You can see it's all mismatched furniture and just kind of thrown together.
So chill as you are kind of a thing. You can't be too pretentious. There's this real fun beer poster coming up. Maybe you can describe all this, Jeff, when it's how beer works its way through your system, starting like with the brain, and then even when it exits your system. So they serving food here too. That's always a good thing to have. And so an upper level, and then you could see the people down below in the disco balls. Some people making some political statements too. We live in interesting times, don't we, Jeff?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, this kind of reminds me of like Post Bar that we have in Detroit, the one near Joe Louis. Used to be Joe Louis Arena, but you'd sign in. So if you had a Sharpie or something, you could sign in and leave a few pearls of wisdom or a penny for your thoughts kind of thing. Or give your 2 cents worth. I would imagine in the evening this place is just off the hook with people.
It's packed.
They got a whatever restroom. Oh, here, Jeff, can you explain this? The human beer system. See how this works?
I don't think I saw this.
But see,
That's probably more than I need to know.
it starts one with your brain, allows you to think about craft beer as much as craft beer thinks about you. Then number 2 is the tongue. And yeah, you can speed read through this a little bit. Number 4, digestive system. You are the best, period. So that's always good to know. And then it's time to say goodbye by the time you reach stage 5. Yeah, so that pretty much explains it all. I mean, this was kind of a beer type festival, wasn't it? You enjoyed the local beers.
Yeah, definitely beer was the drink of choice here. Almost cheaper than water. And
it was October, so it was like Oktoberfest.
it's good beer. stressed out.
Yeah, dog's sleepy. But yeah, they had live entertainment here. Nobody was just in this room except me, unless there were some ghosts and the dog. So, yeah, you're just walking from room to room, checking things out. I think you were having yourself a nice beer. Yeah, I don't know what disco, if they get all those disco balls spinning at night or they just aim space lasers at them to make them sparkle. Oh, I signed in there. It was Friday the 13th. Were you spooked at all, Jeff?
I don't think I knew that.
All right, some of the things on the menu. Yeah, so 3,800. You're quick with it, Jeff? What's that, 3,800? Some ghouls.
3,800 is 1076.
So that's not bad at all. Maybe just a little bit cheaper than we have it in the Detroit area, or what do you think? Were you happy with the food?
Yeah. Well, you got to consider you're in the nation's capital here, in one of the most popular bars in the nation's capital.
Right, yeah, they weren't raking you over the coals.
I mean, it'd be the equivalent of going to, Studio 4 in New York City. You're going to pay a premium for that.
All right, well, here's the Metro map thing. They had this. I used it just briefly, but it's more extensive than what we have in Detroit. I'll tell you that.
It covers a little more territory. It's a little more reliable. And you can also buy a day pass for unlimited rides, bus, ferry, subway, what have you.
Yeah, definitely. The guy you just met, he had bought a coin from a coin shop. He was like he was an advanced backpacker, but he was traveling all over the place. He was telling an interesting story. Part of the trip kind of is, I think, meeting different people when you're on the trip. And keep your eyes open. Camera got away from me a little bit there, but that happens.
Yeah.
All right, well, they got the cherubs, you say? Or, that's going down into the subway, but making it back to the hotel, and you had a great location, Jeff. Just the hotel was just, yeah, we stayed here one night, and what we say, we liked it enough that we said, let's stay 3.
Yeah, I think we ended up staying the whole trip there. It was, the whole trip as far as in Budapest. It was a central location and a relatively cheap hotel room.
Artsy window shopping. 1909? Nope, I have to go back to the Latin numbers. Or the Roman numerals, I should say. But that's accurate. Yeah, a lot of architecture. So if you're into that kind of thing, you could spend a lot of time. And yeah, a lot of history too. When was, do you remember, most of the city was built up? When was its heyday?
Well, Budapest unified in 1873.
But many of these buildings were built before that.
It had a Renaissance period in the 1500s after the Battle of Mohacs.
Yeah, I wish I could provide. Sometimes they have a born-on date on the cornerstone, but
That was the prelude to about 150 years of Ottoman rule. And then the Habsburgs kind of took over after that.
here's a sidewalk cafe, and we just chilled out here. This was kind of like what kind of enclave was this? This was for communist? Was it a communist bar we were in, or what?
I think the tongue might have been firmly in cheek here. The Hungarians, of course, experienced a period of communist rule, and it was not a happy time for them.
Yeah,
like I said, they were on the forefront of pretty much everyone rolled through here at one point. The Nazis, then the Soviets. And then they had the Velvet Revolution in Prague, and, Hungary experienced their own revolution where they kind of got free of the communist yoke, and in truth, those times are not looked back fondly by the majority of the people here.
Yeah, so you think that was all tongue-in-cheek there? They were having some fun.
Yeah, I think they've got a little bit of a sense of humor.
Yeah, there was a little red light district there, but yeah, that was fun. All right, some modern artwork and the old school artwork. We got about 7 minutes left. We're going to take a ride on the Danube River. That's coming up shortly. They have, what is this, the Empire Strikes Back kind of thing? They had quite a few models here you could choose from, if that was your thing. Star Wars, were you into all that, Jeff?
When I was maybe 3 or 4. Yeah.
All right, well, back to the hotel. This is a 2009 floor grate. All right, yeah, I think we decided, yeah, we're going to check out the cruise. So look at the, there's a lot of river action out there now. All right, here's the sales guy.
So this one is ours. So it's open on the top, closed down, so you can choose where to sit on the boat.
Right on.
And if you buy a ticket, you can still choose that you go with the 8:39 or 9:30. It's 2,000.
Oh, wow. What I had.
Okay. So then we had to walk a country mile to get by.
Yeah, he said it was a 3-minute walk or something, and he was a lying sack of garbage.
You had to watch your step too. Down by the river, they have those brick pavement kind of things. So, and there were quite a few of these tours, so you had to make sure you got on the right boat kind of thing. And we just got here right for the 8:30 showing.
Yeah, we were literally the last people on the boat.
Which, yeah, was unfortunate. We wanted the top level to get a better view, but like you were saying, it's nice at night because everything's lit up, so this is the time to really see it, right?
Yep.
The construction of St. Stephen's Basilica. And merchants. Buda and Pest were first connected by a pontoon bridge in the 15th century at the time of King Sigismund. After the period of the Ottoman rule of Hungary, the old city walls were more of a hindrance than the expansion of the city was necessary. These were the real times of a boom in population, since in the early 19th century, Pest only had 3,300 houses or 40,000 inhabitants. Decades would pass before the fixed schedule riverboat ferry service would
So that's the Parliament House, Jeff. You know the history behind that, right?
It's the Parliament building, yeah.
Well, when it was built, it's a government building then, right? Still active in use?
Yeah, it's the actual House of Parliament.
water tower was erected in 1911 to provide a steady water source for the island. Its designer, Sándor Zielinski, is regarded as a European pioneer in using reinforced concrete and the first one to do so in Hungary.
It's the third largest
Inside the
Parliament
tower,
building in the world.
Art Nouveau style set of stairs leads up to the viewing floor, the 8 balconies of which offer scenic 360-degree views of Budapest, including the Danube and the bridges spanning the river. The tower regularly hosts spectacular art events. The fountain of the island used to be a venue for live music, but as time went on, this spectacle became increasingly rare. Amongst the most popular features of the island, particularly on warm summer evenings, is the musical fountain erected in the place of the...
Yeah, we only got 2 minutes, 15 seconds to the top of the hour, and we'll have to have series number 2 in the weeks to follow. We'll have to see how the schedule goes, but we would go from Budapest to Vienna. So this would be a 6-show series. So this is number 1 of 6. That's the Hungarian flag up top. It's tricolor. But yeah, this is just a gorgeous building. So Jeff, thanks for helping out with the audio, and we're gonna have to line up week number 2.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, folks, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more.